What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Being with Bahumi. Being at home with Bahumi has a nice ring to it. I think it does. The studio's closed. People have to have their festivities libone. Well, it actually just reopened, but we're kind of just getting into the rhythm of things, and I didn't want to leave you guys wordless for the year. So I figured, you know what? Let me welcome you to here. It's the new year. Happy, hallelujah. Happy New Year. Oh my God. So it's the beginning of the year, and people generally have plans galore. We, as a people, as a nation, have just ideas, New Year's resolutions. I wonder if people still do this. I know people kind of have their reservations with them lately. It seems as though the less things resolved by the end of the year, the less people are inclined to set them. And it's funny because more often than never, the resolutions aren't resolved because of people. Tough pill to swallow. But yeah, it seems like people don't really make those. I've seen people make prayer boards, which is a new thing. People kind of went from vision boards to prayer boards. I know a lot of Christians. It pretty much sets into what I want to chat about today. Vision boards, prayer boards, resolutions, desires, goals, objectives, dreams, all of these things. Awesome. I really think that it's in our nature to desire, as in our human nature to desire. I think it's what God desires for us. Have them go off. Perhaps one of the reasons that people fail their resolutions, or the reason that following the resolution leaves them unfulfilled, has left us unfulfilled, is because a lot of what we do stems highly from this place of desire more than it stems from being. Look, I realize that a lot of people do things a lot, and they do to have, and it's not a bad thing to do or to have, but we very rarely do from the consciousness of our being. We are going to be, whether we like it or not. We come from being himself, which is God. But if you are conscious of your being, or if you're conscious of who you are, if you're conscious of your presence, how you think, what you believe yourself to be, then you can be more conscious of the decisions you choose to make. The unfortunate thing, though, is that a lot of people do without the consciousness of their being, and their doing reflects their being, and then they wonder why they have the results that they end up with. Whereas when you do, conscious of the thoughts that you have, who you believe yourself to be, you're not surprised, firstly, with what you do, because now you are doing from a place of consciousness. Your decisions are a lot more intentional, if I can put it that way. Also, you're not surprised when you get the results that you achieve. In fact, what would surprise you more than anything is if the results that you achieve probably exceed your expectations. That's what I felt was important to talk about today. We have the resolutions, and they're important to have. God says, write the vision down and make it plain. That's in his word. But where's that vision coming from? A lot of us are writing down visions that were birthed from other people's states of being. So it's not necessarily your being. You pretty much just grabbed, there's another word that I'm looking for, but you essentially just pulled from somebody else's state of being because you probably saw what they had, not knowing how having that thing would affect you, not knowing how having that thing would impact your life, not even knowing how having that thing would be as effective, purposeful, or fulfilling for your life. And I think that's why even if we end up having these things or achieving these things that we saw other people have, we have, I wanted to say instant gratification. No, it's fleeting gratification. So we're gratified to some extent. Perhaps the gratification comes from validation. Now I can probably get the acclaim that they have too. Maybe I can have the fame that they have too. Maybe I can finally have that dopamine. We often recognize it as fulfillment, but it's actually dopamine. It's fleeting. And we wonder why we're not fulfilled because their lives looked fulfilling. It's not just for us to do from a state of being, but be conscious of the state of being that we are doing from in order to have the things that we want. There's a verse in the Bible, 1 Genesis 26. It essentially explains the creation of man. He said, let us, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, make man in our image, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, over everything that creeps and crawls on the earth. And then he gives man an instruction. I think it's the very first instruction that he gives mankind. He says, be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subjugate it. And I remember studying this and I got some really great insights, but I really love it when you study something. It does make you feel pretty cool. I recognize the power in it so much that it feels unbelievable, blasphemous even. Did God really say this about man? But what I really like is when I study something too big for words, and then I come across somebody who confirms it. Our propensity to not trust our ability to hear God following the time that we spent with him needs work. So this amazing man, in my opinion at least, his name is Myron Golden. He's an entrepreneur, businessman, coach, author. I'll put the link up in the description. He essentially unpacked this as the Lord giving us 3 different instructions. Be, do, have. And he created a relationship between the order in the sense that there is a reason why it was in that order. God said to be, then to do, then to have. So often people focus on the having without wanting or even having to do. And that's actually where you get thieves, if you think about it. And not just thieves, but just people who are dreamers. A lot of the Christians are there too, just dreamers. You want to have the thing without doing the thing God told you to do. He even said in his word on another point, be doers of the word. What good is it to desire something without doing what's necessary to have it? There are amazing lessons grabbed actually that can allow you to keep what you've accumulated, to keep the have, to maintain the have from you having to do it. Quite often people who have without doing manipulate, they take for granted, they misuse what they have to the point where it can't be sustained and it depletes. You want $1 million? Yay. Very few people can keep that $1 million past the first 6 months, year. It's not a lot of money if you think about it, but it can be a lot. It can be a lot in capital. Anyways, I think I'm going to go into a whole conversation about this another time and unpack the whole be, do, have thing. But for the purposes of this video, in order to have, you do. In order to do, you are. So how you are, who you become, often qualifies what you do and what you have. But an aspect that I discovered from this being wasn't just that he told them to be fruitful and multiply and then subjugate the earth. It was that he told them. Do you hear what I mean? Like he's the one who told them. It means that he was close enough to give them an instruction. He told them from a point of relationship, and they were close enough to receive that instruction. And the key aspect here is that he didn't just tell them. They were originally made from his image. So their sense of being already reflected the image of God. They weren't from themselves, and I mean that in more ways than one. Not only were they not from themselves in the sense that they never created themselves, but their being wasn't found in them. Their being was found in the image that they reflected, in the image that they were made in. So your being reflects the image that you spend your most time with, if I can put it that way. And that's like the simplest way to put it, because I really want to make this video short. Your sense of being reflects who or what your conditioning has made you to be. Your surroundings, your intake, what you take in, what you read, what you study, what you listen to, who you study, what you spend your time with, consciously or subconsciously. So how many of us are making decisions this year? Desires, resolutions, prayers even, hopes, from a state of being that does not reflect who we actually are. I want to say who we ought to be, but who we ought to be is who we actually are, in the sense that who we're created to be at the very core of our nature. How many of us have steered away so much from that image of God, and not in a religious because sometimes I really do believe that religion has turned God into someone that he's not, as if he can't be in multitude of spaces. Our desires for business, do they reflect God's image for you? Our desires for finances, do they reflect God's image for you? What's our state of being? The key part with this, I received it as being from the verse in the Bible, Acts 17:28, which says, in him we live and move and have our being, for we are his children. In other words, in him we have relationship. But there's an apostle rather, his name is Toby Ariomi, I hope I'm saying his surname correctly, and he put it as intimacy with God. When you spend time being intimate with God, coming as you are, so that he can reveal to you who you actually are in truth, not in some superficial religious way in which you can receive him. No, in truth. He can reveal to you not only the truth of who he is, but the truth of who you are. And then you guys can then live and do and act in truth. When you do that, it is so much more rewarding, because not only will you do in accuracy, in perfect wisdom and understanding, but you will do in rest and peace, knowing that you don't even have to be the perfect one. He's the perfect one for you. So he's already giving you ideas, insight, wisdom, understanding. We'll unpack that another time. I spoke about it a long time ago. And even if you come out of that space not having the full picture, you come out of that space. In fact, you don't even come out of that space, because you are coming into your doing with him. So he fills in the blank. He's the filler. He does everything else that you can't do. That's why you're at rest. I think I'd really want to implore us to do all that God has in store for us this year. There is a great call for us to arise. There's a great call for us to arise and shine, like shine. There are great exploits. There are great things that God has for us. I'm not even saying this in like a, oh yeah, it's going to be a great, no, like I'm saying from a place of certainty. But we have to arise at His command so that we don't do and work amiss, so that we're not unfulfilled at the end of our desires. So happy being, spend time with your Father, ask Him what it is that He wants from you. In fact, just spend time with Him, get to know Him. And as His image bearer, as you do that, you'll end up reflecting the actual image that He had for you all this time. And I promise you, it's way better and way bigger than you could have ever imagined. And in so doing, you will do great exploits in both the simple and the grand, and have eternal peace, blessings, and the awesome stuff that He has for you. And not just things, authority in various spaces, great attributes, mantles, positions. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Subscribe, please do it. And then if you like this video, click. God bless. Bye.